Hi, this is Shaheedah Hill with Maximum One Realty, and I'm back with Nicole Suddeth from Bank South Mortgage. And today we're going to answer some of your frequently asked questions. So, y'all like that video that we did on Georgia Dream. So I want to answer some of the frequently asked questions that first-time homebuyers in particular ask. So the number one is, I'm married, but maybe one person has good credit, the other one person doesn't have good credit, and only one person wants to apply for the loan, but they're trying to do down payment assistance. Can they use the person's income? The person with the bad credit, can they use their income but have them not on the loan?
No. So the income cannot be counted if the person is not on the loan for the purpose of qualifying, meaning debt to income qualifying. Okay. But for down payment assistance programs, they all have some level of household income limits, which means in that case, the spouse's income has to be considered to determine if you qualify within those limits. So one set of guidelines for qualifying debt to income wise and another set of guidelines for down payment assistance household income limits. So if you have a spouse that makes $30,000 and you make $30,000, then the household income is now $60,000, and that we have to make sure that falls within whatever down payment assistance program you're looking
Even if they're not going to be on the loan.
Even if they're not going to be on the loan.
Now, somebody will ask me this. Well, how will they know? We pay our bills separate. We do everything separate. They have their own accounts. How are they going to know?
Well, in the loan application, you have to state whether you're married. So once you're married, we automatically are going to ask for your spouse's income information. If the spouse does not work, that's fine. We do have we have to document that. If they do work, we're going to need their most recent pay stub and their most recent W-2, and that's how we're going to calculate their income for the income limits for the program.
So make sure you're being honest with all income
honesty is always the best policy.
Honesty is the best policy. Be honest with all documentation. That is mortgage fraud if you're trying to hide things and that sort of thing. So make sure you're disclosing, especially when you're doing government down payment assistance programs. You don't want to do that. So number two is, how long do I need to be employed to qualify? I know we were talking and you said, I know it's 2 years. Most people know it's 2 years. What about part-time jobs? Will that count?
So part-time jobs can be used for qualifying. We typically need a minimum of a year on that part-time income to qualify you, because part-time income typically has a lot of fluctuation. So we have to be able to average that out. Minimum a year. Depending on the situation and the level of fluctuation, they may want 2 years.
Good to know. What about, I'm just graduating from college, or my master's degree or my doctorate, I'm just graduating from college. Can I qualify out of college, or do I have to work for 2 years?
You can. We do use your education in lieu of employment history, so as not to penalize you for seeking, higher education. Especially if your new employment is consistent with your degree. If it isn't, that's fine as well. As long as it's an income that we can use that's steady, a salary, then you're fine.
So if I went to school for nursing and I got a job as a nurse, but I've only been working as a nurse for 3 months, I can still qualify with employment. But if I went to school for nursing and I started working Uber, and I've been working Uber for 3 months, can I qualify?
Uber is a little different. Uber is a form of self-employment. 1099, they don't take taxes out of your income. So that requires a 2-year history of that income, because once again, you have the fluctuation, so we have to be able to average that.
Let me change it to target. So I graduated because I don't want to be self-employed anymore. I graduated from I graduated from college, and my degree was in engineering. Now I work at Target, and that's not self-employment, but I've been working there for 2 years. No, not 2 years, but 2 months. Would I qualify?
If you're a full-time hourly employee at Target, yes, we can
we can do it. So if you're graduating from college and you have employment, you should be able to qualify even using your college experience, your college education, your years in college. So that's good to know. I'm going back to the self-employed. I'm self-employed. There are a lot of people that have their different, they might do Uber and Lyft, and they're doing Instacart, all of these jobs, and they're making decent income. How long would they have to do that in order to qualify?
back to that.
Any self-employment.
Any self-employment, 2 years of filing federal tax returns as a self-employed person.
Okay.
And we're going to average that net income for qualifying.
So that net income, whatever you put on your tax return. So even if you're making, say I'm making $100,000 doing Uber, but when I file my taxes, after all my Uber expenses, then I'm just putting in, that I make, after I take all my deductions for Uber expenses, I'm just putting in that I make $30,000. Can you count my $100,000 or my $30,000?
$30,000.
Okay.
So whatever you decide you're going to pay taxes on, your taxable income is the only income we can use for qualifying.
Okay, that's very good to know. So if you're self-employed, you need to make sure you're keeping good records of your income and reporting that income to the IRS.
Absolutely.
All right. Number 4, I'm going to ask 5 questions. Number 4, what if you have no credit? Like you're starting out, you've never had a credit card, you've never had anything in your name. What do I need to do? Can I qualify with no credit?
No, we have to have a credit score in order to qualify you.
Okay, so what's my best way to start getting credit?
Start getting credit. Secured credit card. So typically if you don't have a credit score, then a credit provider will not extend you credit because credit scores are indicative of what type of consumer you are. So with no score, they don't know what kind of consumer you are. And I know it's kind of backwards, but
right.
You typically have to start with a secured credit card, which is a card where you're backing up the credit limit with your own funds, which means it's a lower risk for the credit card company. Until you establish what type of consumer you are, well, then you can convert that to a traditional card. But you start with a secured credit card. You need at least 6 to 12 months before you can generate a credit score.
Okay, that's good to know. So you have to start somewhere. So the thing to start with is probably going to be a secured card where you're spending your own money and establishing a payment or repayment history. Okay, that's very good to know. Our last question. There's a lot of credit score changes happening, like the whole FICO credit scoring, and everybody's wondering how will that affect their credit score? Is it going to help it or may it hurt it? And how can they prepare for that, I guess?
Well, the changes that they're making are going to make it harder. There's been a lot of trends in the credit scoring history that have kind of tarnished the whole purpose of credit scores, which once again is for the creditors to know what type of person they're lending credit to. Things like being added to authorized user accounts and increasing credit limits
right.
and things of that nature.
All those little hacks.
They've caught on to those hacks.
They've caught on to the hacks. They've been watching YouTube too.
Yeah.
They've caught on to the hacks, and so they're those aren't going to work.
They're not going to work at the same level that they used to.
Okay, so
definitely.
What can they do? I mean, is there any way they can get around that?
Just going back to the true traditional way of improving your credit, which is paying your credit on time, keeping your balances low, and having open established credit.
Okay.
It's just the basics. It's no more tricks,
Right.
Just do it the old fashioned way and you'll be fine.
Right. Pay your bills on time. Make sure you have some kind of payment history. All of those things. Those are going to make, as long as you maintain that over a good amount of time, that's going to help you have a good credit history.
Absolutely.
You can still dispute any inaccurate things on your credit. You can still make sure that, what else? If somebody does have something negative, you can ask for them to remove it. So you still do all of those things, but you want to make sure that, some of the hacks that you see online right now are not going to work.
Right.
Not like they used to.
Not like they used to. Just plan and prepare. And like I said, the basics. Pay on time, don't overutilize, and make sure you have some open credit.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. This is Nicole Sudeth from Bank South Mortgage, Shaheedah Hill from Maximum One Realty, getting you over the hill to home ownership. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.